Hello and welcome back to Old Truthford, the home of honestly biased sports content. So today we are going to be doing a quick match preview for the Sheffield United game that Manchester have tomorrow evening. So yeah, this game will be in the Premier League, as you can see in the top left-hand corner. And first things first, I will show you my predicted 11 for the match, which doesn't necessarily mean that I want this starting 11 to start, but this is what I think Ten Hag's going to go with. Viv, see you in the chat. How you doing, bro? We've got Onana in goal, Maguire at centre-back, Varane to pair with him. The reason I've gone with Maguire and Varane's obviously back from injury now, which is good news. And we've got Maguire, who... In all fairness, he's had a couple of decent displays at centre back. Nothing amazing, but decent displays. And in all honesty, I think with the whole scenario that Lindelof's been put in, I don't reckon he's going to start him. So I think Maguire's in for a shout, and I would not be surprised at all to see Maguire and Varane start tomorrow. Good, mate. Good to hear, Viv. Good to hear. Have you recovered from the last stream? But yeah, and moving on. So Delo at right back. I've gone with Delo because I think, again, we've got no other options, so not really much to talk about there. Sergio at left back. Sergio's coming back from injury also, which is good news. And if it wasn't for Sergio, who knows where we would be right now? So, yeah, God bless Sergio, and long may his good form continue. Viv, mate, the most unproductive week. Mate, I'm not. Yeah, I know. I think I went in a coma for for a couple of days at least after that stream. It was a long one. But yeah, and just moving on to CDM here, we've gone with Amrabat, obviously, because Casemiro, he picked up an injury with the Brazil squad. Ten Hag has commented on it, saying that it's nothing too serious and he won't be out for too long, so he will be able to feature in the upcoming matches. But yeah, Casemiro is likely to be a miss on this match day tomorrow. So as for the remaining midfielders, we've got Fernandes and Mount, who I think they're pretty much what Ten Hag's tried to go with this entire season, and I don't see him stopping, because in Ten Hag's mind, if we can just keep trying, then maybe we'll improve. And I think there's something to that. I don't necessarily think, they're just not destined to play with each other. I think they're gonna kick on, to be honest. So yeah, Mason Mount and Fernandes. I would be shocked if he goes with anyone else. There is a shout for McTominay to play. Eriksen as well. Eriksen does tend to fare very well against these lower level teams, which, if we're being honest, Sheffield match that criteria. And yeah, so those are the shouts for midfield. But no, I do think Ten Hag will go with Mount and Fernandes, hoping that the chemistry will eventually click. It'll be an interesting experiment as well to see Amrabat, Mount and Fernandes in the midfield with Casemiro out, because some people have been calling for that at the start of this season, with a few people not very happy with Casemiro's level at the moment. They think that he's become a bit lethargic. So yeah, be interesting to see. And forward front three, I've got Rashford on the left wing. People are going to call for Garnacho, but given that Rashford has been Ten Hag's guy during his first season, and he's just scored a goal for England, I don't see Ten Hag taking Rashford out now that he's back in somewhat goal-scoring form, even if it isn't for United. So yeah, I can see Rashford staying in the left wing position there. Højlund striker, self-explanatory. I don't think Martial's pushed him enough to stop him. Ten Hag could maybe rest him, given the fact that the San Marino player was trying to actively injure him. So he could rest him as a precaution and play Martial against Sheffield, given that they are lower level opposition. However, I think Højlund's going to start because Ten Hag, he never really puts out a weak team. He only does it when he finds it absolutely necessary. And I don't think he will. I don't think he'll opt away from Højlund. Let's say. As far as Antony goes on the right wing, I think that's just a. I think that's just a self-explanatory one as well. Palistri's not ready to start right now. We've all seen that with his cameos so far. Still a promising talent, but he needs to bulk up, and he also needs to. He needs to work on seizing his moment. We've seen Palistri get into a few good opportunities, but he's just been a second too slow. So we do need to see more of that from Palistri, and hopefully he can seize his moment off the bench in a couple of games this season. So yeah, Antony starting right wing, and that is my predicted 11. What players would you sub in for any of these, if any of them, guys? Are there any players that you think are definitely going to start tomorrow? Or but also, aside from the predicted 11, what we're going to quickly do right now is just going to inject some copium into our veins, and as I said earlier, get delusional, because the 3 points is already guaranteed. Realistically, if we look at it, we've already won. There's no way this will come back to bite anyone because it's Sheffield United, and the heritage is on our side. So Viv, you're saying Garnacho for Rashi and Palistri for Antony. Okay, interesting shouts. I would like to see them at some point all play together. I'd like to see Højlund, Garnacho and Palistri all play together at one point. Just a forward three of pretty much, are they all like under 21? I think they're all under 21. That'd be a good match. However, it's unlikely we're going to see it because Garnacho's a part of the starting 11 and Martial's a part of the second string 11. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to see it, but it would be interesting. As for the stats behind the stats, let's just move over here. Now this is where we get into the meat and potatoes. And people call me delusional, but I've done my homework, okay? So Sheffield United have won just 2 of their 10 Premier League games against Manchester United. 1 draw, 7 losses. Their most recent meeting in January 2021 and the first ever such game between the sides on the opening weekend of the inaugural 1992-93 campaign. Now, what does this mean? Probably absolutely nothing. However, to look to the future, all we have to do is look at the past. So Sheffield United have won just 2 of their 10 Premier League games against Manchester United. And for the remainder of them, well, for 70% of their games against us, they've lost. For 10%, they've drawn. And for 20%, they've nicked a win here and there. But the odds are heavily in our favour. Even if we're away from home, given our away form, we've got to factor that in, obviously. But even though our away form isn't the best, I mean, I think we've got this. Man United have scored in all 10 of their Premier League games against Sheffield United, only having a higher 100% scoring record against Swansea and Nottingham Forest in the competition. Now, I'm no I'm no gambler. I don't gamble. I don't gamble. But considering we've scored in every single game against them, this can only end well. Because realistically, are we going to concede 2 goals to Sheffield United? Even with our defence. Are we going to concede 2 goals? No, we're not. So minimum, we've got a draw or a win. Now, me being my completely reasonable self, we're going to win the match. So, yeah, that's definitely a stat you don't want to avoid, considering the fact that we've scored every single game. Can't stay, but keep it up. Big win tomorrow. Yeah, Jake, it's gonna be a big one. Hey, we surprise people, you know. No surprises here. These are facts. You can't argue with facts, my friend. Third, Manchester United have won each of their last 9 Premier League games against newly promoted sides. Their longest such run since winning 12 in a row from May 2011 to March 2013. Away from home, they have won their last 6 against promoted sides, only ever winning more in a row once before in the competition. Need I say any more? My friend? So, are we feeling confident yet? I mean, you say we surprise people, Viv, but that's 3 killer stats to say we are going to win tomorrow. And I'm not a betting man, but put all your life savings on it. That's all I can say. This isn't financial advice. Sheffield United have just 1 point from 8 Premier League games this season. They've won 0, drawn 1, and lost 7. The joint lowest tally by a side at this stage in the competition. Defeat here would be the 10th occasion in English top-flight history of a side having 1 or fewer points from their first 9 in a campaign, while the Blades could be the first side to do so more than once, having had 1 point in their opening 9 in 2020-2021. Again, coincidence? Viv, do you think Eric will rest the big dons for the must-win Champions League game and the derby? I don't see him. I think that was probably his plan at the start of the season. Now, I don't think there's any chance of it, to be honest. I think now it's just get a result at all cost. If people get injured, they get injured. But I think we're just back against the wall, going to play our best team every single game that we can. Yeah, I don't see any respite. It's like even in the Carabao Cup, the next round we're facing Newcastle, so he probably would have hoped for weaker opposition, so Garnacho and Pellistri could have got a few more starts, but I doubt that's going to happen now that we're playing Newcastle, especially considering we robbed the trophy of from Newcastle last season. So Newcastle are definitely going to play a strong side, which in turn forces us to play a strong side. And yeah, who do we realistically have to rest? So if we look at Man United's fixtures, so our next fixtures we've got Sheffield, and then, as you said, we've got the Champions League night, we've got Copenhagen, and then we've got Man City, and then we've got Newcastle. Our next... Every game is a must-win game at this point, to be honest. There's no point even looking at who we're facing. We need to win every single game. Yeah, that's just the position that we're in because we've started so slowly. But onto the final stat of the video. So from what we can see from the other stats, Manchester United destroy promoted sides. We have always scored a goal against Sheffield United, and well, in our last 10 games against them. But yeah, we always score against Sheffield United. In history tells us that, and Sheffield are just bad. Like surely we can't lose to Sheffield United or even draw. Surely. Viv, game against Sheffield is perfect to rest Bruno for Mount and putting Garnacho and Pellistri in, maybe Højlund as well. I think it's an opportunity, but the reason I don't think we're going to do it is because of what Ten Hag came out and said. Let me just pull this up. So yeah, Ten Hag had this to say. Sheffield United, every game in the Premier League is difficult. If you saw the results against City and Spurs, they are very close games. If you don't play your best football, you can lose. It would be a good opportunity to rest, but I don't see him doing it personally. But final stat here, Sheffield United have conceded 2 or more goals in each of their last 7 Premier League games. 21 conceded, 3 per game. There have been just 8 occasions of a side shipping 2+ goals in 8 straight matches within a single season in the competition. Most recently, West Brom in February 2021, a run that the Baggies ended by drawing 1-1 with Manchester United. So, does that mean that they would be creating history if they conceded a bunch of goals against us? Yes, it would. I don't see Sheffield conceding that many goals against us. I think it's going to be a solid 2-0 victory based on the facts that we can see here, as well as if you look at the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see Sheffield's record in their last 5 games. And yeah, they picked up a draw, which is that something to write home about? I don't know. I think they're going to get absolutely demolished. And yeah, Manchester United, okay, we've picked up a couple of L's in our last 5 games, but and yes, they were against Galatasaray and my memory is failing me. They were against Galatasaray and Crystal Palace in the Premier League. But realistically, I think the banana skin's over. We've got players coming back from injury. It's going to be full strength United soon enough, maybe in a month or 2. And yeah, as for the news that has come out as of today, Erik ten Hag has made a few comments on the Lindelof situation, given the fact that what happened in Belgium will obviously have an effect on him, and Ten Hag had this to say. So, the world is crazy. He didn't sleep all night. He came back and he was back at training yesterday. Our thoughts are with Victor, the families of the victims, and the victims. Victor has energy and is ready to play this match. So, Ten Hag saying he's ready, but does that necessarily mean Ten Hag will play him? I think Ten Hag's going to opt for Maguire. I can't see him going with Lindelof, given the fact of everything that's happened. And Maguire's, if we're being honest, I mean, people don't like it because it's easy to jump on the hate train, but Maguire's had a couple decent games. Not amazing, but decent games. So if we're not going to play him when he has a decent run of form, then when are we going to play Maguire? And it also just aids us in getting rid of him in the future. So if he was to have a decent run up until January, and Ten Hag still wanted to get rid of him, then yeah, we can We can just let Maguire go for a bigger fee. Viv, what happened to Lindelof? So essentially, there was as far as I'm aware, there was a terror attack in Belgium and I think it was relatively close to where the Swedish team were playing. Don't quote me. I may have misconstrued it, but I believe there was some form of attack which was close to the vicinity of the stadium that Lindelof was playing in. So it resulted in, well, you can imagine the emotions that would go into that. Now, as reported, obviously Varane, Sergio, and Amrabat are all available. As for Casemiro, Ten Hag had this to say: "It's disappointing that Casemiro got injured, but it's not too serious. I'm sure and confident he will be back for the next matches. The good news is also that Sofiane Amrabat is available." So I think it's pretty obvious and pretty clear to see that Amrabat will be coming into the midfield for Casemiro tomorrow. And yeah, that's all the up-to-date news that we've got so far for the match tomorrow. Viv, man, Lindelof is really unlucky. First for burglary and that. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when it happened, to be honest. He's been a part of a lot of controversial kind of going-ons, or he's just been inflicted with them rather. But yeah, I think he should be okay. Ten Hag has said that he's in good spirits, as good as you can be. So Lindelof could easily slot in there for Maguire, but I think given all of that, surely Ten Hag's going to pick Maguire. I'd be shocked if Lindelof starts tomorrow. But yeah, that is my preview. What I am going to predict for the score is a solid 2-0 to Manchester United. I think Rashford's back in goal scoring form. He will score a goal. And I think we're going to see a Mount goal. I think we're going to see a Rashford and Mount couple of goals. I could see Fernandes being an assister, and I think I could see Anthony picking up an assist as well. But overall, I think it's going to be a very, very exciting match, and there's no way, let me just repeat that, Manchester United will lose tomorrow. 2-0 victory, and we go again. For those in the chat, drop your score predictions in quickly, and then we're going to clock off. Cheers for popping in, Viv. Appreciate it, man. Sleep well, and tonight we feast on Sheffield United fans' tears. 3-1 United. I like it. Okay, I will clock off now. Thanks for tuning in, those who popped in, and yeah, glory, Man United. See you tomorrow. Godspeed.